The film kicks off with two very ordinary people, Dr. Randall Mindy, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, an astronomer at Michigan State University, and his grad student Kate Dibiasky, played by Jennifer Lawrence. Kate is the one who makes the discovery that changes everything. She's scanning the night sky when she notices something strange, a comet, but it's not just any comet. It's huge, it's headed directly for Earth, and it's going to destroy the planet. The impact is predicted to happen in just 6 months. Now, Randall and Kate are smart people. They know what this means. They've calculated the trajectory, and the numbers don't lie. This comet is on a collision course with Earth. In a panic, they take the data to the higher-ups. But what happens next? Instead of being taken seriously, they're brushed off. They're treated like they're overreacting. They get a big fat meh from the people who should be doing everything in their power to stop this catastrophe. But they press on. Eventually, Randall and Kate get the attention of NASA, and they start presenting their findings to a committee of scientists. There's no denying the truth anymore. This comet is real, and it's coming. But the real turning point happens when they go public. They take their discovery to the US government, hoping to get help. They meet with President Orlean, played by Meryl Streep, who, to put it mildly, doesn't care much about the comet. She's more focused on re-election campaigns, political maneuvering, and keeping up appearances. Her chief of staff, Jason, played by Jonah Hill, is basically a walking embodiment of political ineptitude. He doesn't take them seriously at all. He's more concerned with optics than saving humanity. At this point, you can already tell things aren't looking good. The people in power, the ones who should be rallying to prevent the apocalypse, are ignoring the very people who have the information to save the world. The whole scenario is so absurd, it's almost laughable. And the most frightening part? This absurdity is a reflection of the world we live in today, where real-world disasters, like climate change, are often ignored or dismissed for political gain. But Randall and Kate aren't giving up. They go public with the news, and their story catches the attention of the media. But here's the thing about the media in this world. While they can make or break the story, they often have their own agendas. Instead of treating the comet as the serious, world-ending disaster it is, they make it a joke. They treat the whole thing like a tabloid sensation, with hosts mocking the scientists and sensationalizing the situation for ratings. It's a terrifying commentary on how real problems are trivialized when the media turns them into clickbait. Instead of focusing on the life or death stakes of the comet, the show turns into a circus. One of the worst scenes for Kate and Randall is when they appear on a morning talk show to explain the gravity of the situation. The hosts are friendly at first, but then the conversation quickly turns to mockery. It's like they've lost any sense of urgency, and they begin focusing on the trivial details, like Kate's emotions or how the scientists' apocalypse scenario just sounds a little too extreme. You can feel Kate's frustration building as she tries to get the point across. This is real. We're all going to die. The whole thing starts to spiral out of control. People aren't listening. The media are making light of the situation, and politicians are more focused on elections than on saving the planet. The president's approval ratings dip, but she still refuses to act. The government is more concerned with staying in power than dealing with an existential threat. And this is where the satire kicks into high gear. Enter Peter Isherwell, played by Mark Rylance, a tech billionaire and CEO of a company called Bash. Peter is the kind of guy who thinks he can solve every problem with technology, and that includes the comet. He proposes a plan to break the comet into smaller, less dangerous pieces with the help of advanced space technology. This, of course, is a terrible idea. Peter isn't interested in saving the planet as much as he is in making money. He's in this for the profit, not the survival of humanity. And that's what makes his plan so dangerous. Randall and Kate, desperate for a solution, reluctantly agree to work with Peter and his team. But this is where things start to go from bad to worse. The mission to destroy the comet is a failure. The comet continues on its path, and everyone is left scrambling to figure out what to do next. The stakes are higher than ever, but it feels like the world has already given up. By this point, the film has become a satire of everything wrong with the world today. The political system, the media, the tech companies, all of these elements are portrayed as being more concerned with their own interests than the actual crisis at hand. It's a dark commentary on how humanity tends to ignore or downplay the things that truly matter, and it's both funny and terrifying at the same time. At one point, Dr. Mindy becomes a media sensation. He's everywhere, on TV, in the papers, giving interviews about the comet. But instead of being celebrated as a hero, he's treated like a spectacle. People tune in for the drama, for the spectacle of it all, but no one seems to care about the actual, world-ending threat. Randall's emotional breakdown on TV is a poignant moment in the film. It's not just the collapse of a man who realizes the world is doomed, it's the collapse of a system that values entertainment over real issues. The final stretch of the movie is where the tension really ramps up. Randall and Kate, at this point, have nothing left but to hope for the best, though they know deep down that the comet is coming. President Orlean, who has shifted from dismissing the threat to trying to use it to her political advantage, orders a last-ditch effort to stop the comet. But instead of a rational, scientific solution, it's a political move, a publicity stunt designed to win votes, not save lives. As the comet gets closer and closer, the world begins to panic. People start protesting in the streets, but by this point, it's too late. The comet is too big, and the governments of the world have failed to act in time. The film ends with the comet's inevitable impact, and humanity is wiped out. The final moments of the movie show the main characters having one last dinner together, trying to accept their fate. There's no miracle. There's no escape. It's just the end of the world, and we're all witnesses to it. The tragedy isn't just the death of the characters, it's the realization that humanity, as a whole, failed to act in time to save itself. President Orlean and other elites attempt to flee Earth on a spaceship designed for long-term cryogenic travel, abandoning the planet they helped doom. However, Isherwell's AI predicts that Orlean will be eaten by a creature called a Bronteroc, a mysterious alien species. The post-credits scene confirms this when Orlean, having survived the journey, emerges on an unknown planet, naked and confused, only to be promptly devoured by a large, bird-like creature. Meanwhile, Jason Orlean, the president's son, is left behind, clueless and alone. He later emerges from the rubble of a destroyed Earth, the last human survivor, still recording videos for his followers, highlighting the absurdity of modern influencer culture. Don't Look Up may be a satirical dark comedy, but it's rooted in real-world issues. It's a movie that asks us to think about how we, as a society, deal with urgent problems that could have life-altering consequences for future generations. It's about climate change, about the breakdown of political systems, about how greed and self-interest can cloud judgment at the cost of humanity's survival. It's a film that points fingers, sure, but it also serves as a warning. We can't ignore the dangers of the world just because they're inconvenient or difficult to face. By the end of Don't Look Up, we're left with a sobering thought. We might be the ones responsible for our own destruction if we keep ignoring the signs. The world is burning, and in the case of the comet, it's literally crashing down on us. And yet, we keep turning away, distracted by the next big headline or the next political scandal. The movie doesn't just entertain. It challenges us to confront the hard truths about how we handle crises, and ultimately, how we might meet our own end. So Don't Look Up, it's not just about a comet. It's about how we react when the world is about to end, and whether we'll choose to face the truth before it's too late. It's a film that asks you to look up at the sky, to see the danger coming, and to wonder, will we ever look up in time to save ourselves?